In 3, 2, 1, looks like we're going. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Darren with the Coffee Beans and SEO show. There's Scott.
Cheers. Got my coffee ready to go here.
Yeah.
And I got my coffee straight from Puerto Rico. My mother-in-law brought me back a cup when she came into New York.
Right on.
Brought me my favorite cup from Puerto Rico.
Great on, man. Right on.
Yeah.
And
Good to know you're a coffee drinker. You're on the right show.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's today's guest is Bret Moleta from Mindsaw SEO. He's an expert in Google My Business and Google Maps. At least from what I can tell and what I know, he seems like he ranks stuff. So, and that's what's most important.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I guess first thing we like to do is talk about coffee for a little bit, for just a couple of seconds.
Okay.
You know, it is coffee beans.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
You're drinking some coffee from Puerto Rico. Can you
tell me? No. The cup is from Puerto Rico, but I'm going to tell you the best. I'm going to tell you the best coffee. I'm going to tell you a short coffee story. So, I have an office in St. Petersburg, Florida, and it's a shared office space. I mean, it's beautiful. It's right on Central Avenue, maybe about 3 blocks from the ocean, and it's really beautiful. It's like this old building from the early 1900s. Anyway, I run into this girl, and I'm speaking to her about her coffee, and she goes, "Oh, you got to get coffee at this place." So they brew it. I said, okay. So I went there. I bought 2 bags of coffee. I said, yeah, let me have 2 bags of coffee. They ground it up for me. She gives me the thing. She goes, I said, how much? And she goes, $52 for two bags of coffee. Now, now you got to have a $52 palate to enjoy $52 coffee. So I came home. I was really excited to taste it. And I guess you need a French press or something like that. I don't have a French press, but I guess you need a French press, and had a regular coffee brewer, and it didn't, I didn't taste any. I didn't taste $52 worth of coffee. However, I'm going to give you the best. I'll give you the best coffee. I'll give you the best coffee. If you're going to go to a supermarket, McDonald's. Get the McDonald's coffee. It's better than Dunkin' Donuts. It's better than Starbucks. I get it in Walmart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I was gonna say Dunkin', and then you put in that it was better than Dunkin'.
It's better than Dunkin'. It's better than Dunkin'. It's better than get the McDonald's. Maybe they could sponsor your show.
Well, maybe.
There you go.
It's funny, actually. I own Darren's Coffee. I'm a coffee roaster as well. So the best coffee I ever had was actually Darren's Iron Roast.
I'm gonna have to check that out. You should put a link so I can purchase it.
Yeah. I'll definitely put a link in the description.
Yeah, put a link. Yeah, for sure. I'll put a link there. I'll check it out. But do you need a special coffee pot?
No. You can,
because I got it like a cheap, or do you need the French? What is that called? French press.
No, man, you can use a sock and a rock, man, and some hot water.
When I met my wife, I didn't drink coffee. Right, I was about 24, 25 years old. I said, "What are you doing there?" She had a sock. She had the Spanish espresso. You know what I mean? She had it tied up in a sock. It was delicious. I've been drinking it ever since.
There you go. It's called cowboy coffee.
That's what it is?
Yeah, cowboy coffee.
My wife's a Puerto Rican cowboy.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's our little bit about coffee today. So we're going to talk about really why you're here. Bret is our first guest on our show that's in its infancy. It's super infancy.
Great.
And I really appreciate Bret joining us today. I actually found him when I was doing a search on how to get better at Google My Business, and I stumbled upon this video, a couple of videos that he had, and I was like, "Man, this guy is really, he's really great. Really great at it."
Thank you. Well, let me, if you don't mind, let me preface that.
Okay.
I'm really good at it, but I'm really great at explaining things. Right. I don't make up words. I don't speak over your head. I don't try to relearn a language. I don't try to make you relearn a language. I speak to people as if I'm speaking to a 12-year-old, right? Because people who are trying to learn something don't want language to be a barrier. So if I know I'm saying something and I keep saying GMB, I know that the average listener doesn't know that means Google My Business. so they don't have to stop my YouTube video and Google what does GMB mean. You know what I mean? So I speak to everybody in very simple terms. So I'm very good at Google Maps, but I'm great at explaining things. At least I think I am.
Yes, I would agree. I would definitely agree.
Yeah. So if you learn something from my free video, I really appreciate you saying that. With that being said, if we could sidetrack just a short time, I was part of we mentioned names on this show. Do we get crazy on this show?
Yeah, we can do whatever we want.
Wow, all right. So
as long as we touch on coffee before we get to the SEO, I think that's the only rule we have.
Oh, okay.
And we've already done that, so now we can go anywhere we want.
Good. Okay. Well, I feel like I'm taking over your show.
No, you're
anyway. Right. So, what was I going to say? So, Darren, you and I actually. We met because you saw my video, but then we also met because we were part of the same group.
Yes.
We're part of Josh's group. And, hey, listen, man, Josh is an SEO god and he's a monster and he's everything. I mean, I created a video about him.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that video. I'm about 5 greatest SEO YouTubers. I think that, he's fabulous. But you know what? He speaks another language.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand half the shit he says.
Scott's part of the same group, so.
Okay. I mean, I've been watching Josh's videos probably for about 3 or 4 years, and it took the first year I had no idea what he was talking about. And you got to remember something when you're watching somebody like that, extremely knowledgeable and is the best SEO. I don't want to use the word but, so I'll use the word and. And when he tells you, don't get links for your site and you could rank a site without links, maybe he can, because he's such an expert. But I'll speak for myself. I can't rank a site without getting links. And I went a year. I went a year because I listened to that advice and I lost 10 customers.
Wow.
I lost 10 customers because everybody's ranks dropped. You know what I mean? And he made a whole video on backlinks don't matter. He did all these scientific studies and A/B testing. And just because I don't understand what he was doing doesn't mean that I could discount it. I'm sure he's right and I'm wrong. I'm saying that right now. He's right, I'm wrong. But I lost 10 clients. I lost 10 clients because I didn't get links.
I found with this whole industry, you've got to test everything yourself to confirm. There's, you can't just follow step by step and just wait. That's been my experience is finding ways to test.
Well, I think testing is important, but I think there's more than one way to skin a cat. So like Scott, and you may have a method for ranking websites, and it may work. It doesn't mean it's the only method. It don't mean it's the only method. I'm gonna throw somebody else out there. So after I had Josh's course, I bought Brian Dean's course. I'm always learning. I'm always trying to learn. I learned from Brad Mabry. I learned from Brian Dean. And I challenge anybody to watch one of Brian Dean's videos. And I challenge you to write his 9 most exciting ways to get new clients, to build backlinks in 2018. I challenge anybody to write those ways down and see how many virtual assistants you'll need to complete half of them. You'll need about 40.
Wow.
He makes it seem super simple. So I bought his course, $397 a month, and you literally have to learn a different language. You have to learn a different language. I mean, he's making up words. He has this thing. It's great. It's called a skyscraper technique. You don't know when to use it. You don't know when to use his hero technique, right? So I'm speaking to somebody else in that group, and I'm like, so he goes, listen, dude, you got to try to relax. He's telling me, he goes, you got to try to relax. He goes, I've been watching this course for 3 years, and I'm just starting to get it. I don't want anybody. I don't want anybody in my head for 3 years.
No.
You know what I mean? I got my wife in my head for 25 years. You know what I mean? Like I don't want anybody in my head. Listening to I don't want to listen to somebody's voice for 3 years. So my thing is now for 2019 If you can't get it in straight plain English, if you don't understand it, just move on. Drop the course. If it's my course, Darren's course, Scott's course, Brian's course, Josh's course, if you can't understand it because they're speaking, maybe they're okie dokie you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're just okie dokie you. That's an East Coast term for bullshitting you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sounds good. And you're really excited about the methods, right? But at the end, you're all pumped up and you don't know nothing.
Yeah. Well, I learned a lot from Greg Ortiz and Alex Becker stuff. That's kind of how I got started with SourceWave.
Really?
Yeah. Really. I started with SourceWave.
I know Gregory Ortiz is a monster. I had some experience with Alex Becker and his watch, and
ranking the Rolex.
Yeah. I had a little bit of experience with him, and only my opinion. He may go on and see this video. Dad will see it, but if you see it, he may say I'm full of shit, right? but I didn't.
Alex, yeah. Dad will see it.
What? He's full of shit.
Straight up. You'd have to find it to see it, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like with his Gretzky jerseys and stuff. Yeah, am I jealous? I wish I had the dough he had, or the dough that he appears to have. But I didn't think that his thing was any good. I like his Fiverr ripoff though. That SourceWave.
Yeah, Conquer.
Oh, Conquer.io.
Yeah.
You could get some good stuff that you can't get on Fiverr anymore.
The only thing about Conquer is, man, I've been ripped off from Conquer, man. Like domains, expired domains not coming along, and I'm like, well, can I get my refund, man? I mean, what's going on? Can I get a credit? And it just, as a super duper headache. So I was like, what I was not impressed with Greg's course is we just stopped. It kind of stopped. There was no real new information. And I know what's going on right now in the industry. There's an argument with Chase Reiner is saying you can now rank with no links, and Josh is now saying you need links in order to rank. So
Josh is saying, I haven't watched Josh's videos in about 6 months, and now Josh is saying you need links to rank.
Now he's saying, testing says that we need links in order to rank. So,
you see, man, you could drive yourself crazy watching these guys.
It's turning into a soap opera, like wrestling or something at this point, with all the you don't need backlinks, so you do need back. It's pretty comical if you're in the industry, but if you're like an outsider trying to find valuable information,
oh, man,
you don't know which way is up.
You really don't. It's like doing a heart operation on a patient and not knowing where the heart is, like not even know where to start. You're starting in the foot and you're thinking that's good. And you're there. You're in the foot for a year, not realizing you're in the foot. You waste a lot of time. But hey, listen, that's how you learn. And through everybody's course, no matter what, you could learn. I didn't learn anything from Chase. I know he has a large clientele, a large client base. I haven't learned anything from him.
Well, EDM.
He's terrible explaining. I think he's real bad at explaining things. He starts talking and then he forgets the links and he has to go back and forgets. And, I don't know. He was Josh's man there for a while.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't show up. Yeah. And Josh had to make him into a character. And something happened. I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. So let's jump on Google My Business or GMB.
Okay. I'd rather talk about everybody else in the industry. Talk about how everybody's full of shit. But maybe that'll be the next. That'll be the next show.
Exactly.
I got more guys. All right, let's talk about this.
Okay.
Let's talk about this. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Google My Business. We were looking at it, and there's a lot of new changes that are happened. In the past couple of months.
Right.
Can you talk about some of the changes that
you noticed? I could talk about it. First of all, anybody watching this show, if you get anything from this show, here's what I'd like you to get. This is the most important thing. I'd like you to treat your Google My Business, otherwise known as GMB, as your money site, meaning as your website. So you have Phil's Plumbing, Jack's Lawyers, ABC.com, whatever your .com, .net is, and you have your GMB. Your GMB is just is maybe more important at this point. Your GMB is more important. Okay, I'll say that it's more important.
Okay.
Right. So, and why do I say that? because more mobile more people are checking your website via mobile. And when they're looking for a plumber in New York and you know, they click your link and then click the call, that's coming from GMB, right? That's coming from GMB. So you want to make sure that your GMB is complete, your Google My Business is completely filled out. So you want to try to every day put a new post on, a new special. And to be quite honest with you, I've been, you know, it's the story of the shoemaker, right? The shoemaker walks around with holes in his shoes, right? You take care of your clients and then you look back at yours and you're like, oh shit, I didn't do it. So I had some things going on. Like I said, I came from Florida recently and came back to New York. I haven't had a chance to instruct my guys to get back on my GMB. So when I prepared for this meeting, I see that I'm missing, you know, I am missing quite a lot of things on my GMB. So I'm gonna get that together. But the other thing that I wanted to speak about was your 360 photos, right? You should, okay. So let me just get you in a second. Let me try to explain something. So you could have a Google certified photographer come down and take pictures of your location. And this is a tip that I got through Josh, is that once it costs about $800, but once they do a 360 view of your business, they go back to their office and they may have a panel where they could check off to Google and verify that you're a real business and that's your real location. And only the Google trusted photographers have that control panel. Right.
So, quick question for you, Bret.
Yeah.
What if you're
that, though.
What if you're working out of your home and you don't have a lobby? Is there any kind of workaround of that to get that 360?
Yeah.
You know, can you get it in your home office?
Yes.
Or
yes, yes, yeah. I believe you can. I believe you can. I've worked with clients and it has worked.
Cool.
Right. So I'm kind of being roundabout as saying I'm being very careful as to what I say there. If you could read between the lines, right? It's worked.
Cool.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
yes. So there's another thing called Google Street View, and you could do 360. It's an app that you just download either for the iPhone or the Android device. It's called Google Street View, and it's super easy to use. I mean, you got to get your coordination together because as you're spinning slowly, you got to tap a circle on your phone and it creates a 360 view and you upload that to Google My Business. And that's free.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I know.
Right.
Like, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go say it.
Well, I know that I've made some video for clients, you know, just video kind of montage videos using iMovie and loaded those videos up there. And it seems like, well, I really haven't tested it, but it appears that helps with stickiness.
Right, right. But what you want to do is you want to give Google everything that they're asking for in regards to their Google My Business page. You want to give them everything that they're asking for. So if they're asking photos now, do you guys use Bret Local?
I did at one point. I don't anymore.
I use it for some reporting right now.
Scott, I know Scott uses it.
Yeah, I use it for some reporting, but that's the extent right now.
How about what do you use? White Spark instead?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I used White Spark, but this was years ago. Maybe they have upgraded. I thought that Bret Local was better. Because once you put in all the client's information, it will let you know compared to your competition how many photos you need compared to your competition in your Google My Business. Does White Spark do that?
Wow, no, not that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and also right. So not only citations, but it'll let you know photos. So for example, Smith Lawyer may have 200 photos. So if you're a Wilson lawyer, you know, hey, Mr. Wilson, I need you to take 202 pictures, stand in your place. And you know, those pictures are geotagged, right? Because they're taken from the cell phone.
Hey, Bret, I've noticed on a lot of client websites or GMB dashboards on the insights, when it says your photo count versus your businesses like you,
Right.
but usually those businesses like you have 0 or 3 or 5, and
I
then
know.
the client I'm looking at has whatever 20, 100, 200,
Yeah.
and
And they're
it
still not
always
ranking.
seems, yeah, it's like it always
Yeah.
seems like you're already dominating the businesses like you.
Right.
Are you saying that those insights aren't really giving you anything accurate inside the
I
GMB
would
for
say
photos?
that the insights are giving it to you. However, I use Bright Local for that. I don't use insights for it. That's just what I use. And you know what? The way that I hear myself sound, that I always like to use Google products. So maybe I should be looking at that also and comparing it to Bright Local. But you do want to, if you get nothing out of this, you do want to know how many photos your competition is using. Right? That's real important. But you got to remember something. That's just one ranking factor.
Right.
Right. So see, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was reviews. Getting reviews. Getting reviews is real important. Now, I had a real good client. I did great work for this guy. So this is what he writes. This is the best firm. They did excellent work. I would definitely use them again. If you're looking for a firm like them, they're the best. What do I do? Where am I from? Right?
Like
Now,
SEO, where there.
yeah, like so you're not supposed to tell people what to say. And you're not supposed to say that, but when people write reviews like that, it doesn't do much for you, right? Because when you do a search, you'll notice that in the 3-pack, the reviews that come up usually have the keyword, right?
Yeah.
It'll say New York plumber or something like that because it was in the review. Right.
And this is one of those topics that really irritates me. I appreciate you speaking all this language, in words that business owners understand.
Right.
Google My Business is at a GMB, but like I work with a lot of clients, and I'm like creating, creating their domain/review redirect URL that sends people to their Google to leave a review. Like the business owners themselves aren't savvy enough to understand how to leave reviews themselves. And I'm educating them on how to, send people there. So it's like, it's even this added level of complexity that's unrealistic.
I know.
So what ways have you found that makes it easier for a business owner to get those, like technically get those, not just ask for them, but get them?
Yeah. So here's a couple of things. So like, say I have my car right now and you go to a repair shop, right? My son's car, he's been driving around 1 month with Rain-X on his windshield wipers. His windshield wipers broke, and instead of getting new windshield wipers, he put Rain-X on it. So when he came home from college, I'm going to put Rain-X on him. So we had to fix his windshield wipers. So, so what was I going to say? So while I'm in the shop, the fella could say, hey, would you mind giving me a Google review? And this is what you do. Just Google my name, click the 5-star, right? And I'm right there in the shop. So it's going to read that I was there. Google's going to know that I was there and I gave a 5-star review. Now, here's another thing you go. I use that WhiteSpark. There's a review generator on WhiteSpark.
Yeah.
Do you guys know about that?
Yeah, I do use that.
Right. So if let's just say Darren was my client and I just did Darren's coffee beans, Darren's roasters, right? I say, hey, Darren, did you have a good experience with us? He says, yeah, I had a real good experience. You guys were really cool. You really did everything I asked for and more. And I said, Darren, would you mind giving us a review? And he said, yeah, but I'm not really sure how to do that. So what I'll do is I'll create a link on WhiteSpark. And I'll say, Darren, here's the link. And if you wouldn't mind, you could write something like this, or if you want to use this, this is fine. And then I'll put in parentheses underneath, working with Bret. Yeah, listen, only because people don't know what to write. I mean, they should write it in their own words. You give them the link and then they still don't know what to write. You know what I mean? So like, I'm trying to say something without saying it, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Exactly.
We know what you're saying.
Sometimes you got to coach your clients. sometimes you got to,
you know what I'm saying?
you know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes you got to coach your clients because, like, let's face it, Darren's running a coffee business. He's not running Google reviews. He could give a shit about Google reviews. He just wants his site done. So now he wants to leave. The only time he really gives a shit is if I took the money and didn't do any work for him or screwed everything up. Then you'll be Yelping. Then you'll be Googling, you know, you'll be doing everything. What's that? Better Business Bureauing me, right? If I didn't, you get real creative if you got ripped off. But if the job's done right, you're like, how do I do it? You know, I don't know how to do it. So look, here's the link. And, you know, I work with Mindsaw, a website design firm in Staten Island, New York. And they did my coffee bean website, you know, and also did my SEO, better known as search engine optimization. You see, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't know. I don't know how else to say it, because you tell people just to give you a link. What do? They give you, I give you a review. What do? They give you a review and they say you're the best.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you, Bret.
Sure.
Recently, I've had more people coming to me that, for whatever reason, they don't have control over their website. So like an insurance agent that's worth a national, insurance company, like a local agent for a national insurance company, or say like a service area business that's underneath a national franchisor. And so they can't do anything to their website because that's hosted and run by the big corporation,
right.
But they do have Google My Business access.
Okay.
So what are like the biggest, returns on activity outside of optimizing and all that, doing the fill out all the places and everything with your GMB, right, and putting photos? What are the activities if they're going to spend, let's say, 30 minutes a week, maybe an hour a week? Like, what can they do in that time to get the biggest bang for like ranking in 3 paths?
Reviews.
All reviews?
Reviews. I think that's the biggest thing right now. I believe that reviews are the biggest thing right now. That's the research, for the videos that I watch and the people that I follow, everybody's saying reviews are the biggest thing. That's the thing that you want to do, is get those reviews. That's real important. Now, you remember something is, I'm going to tell you a mess up that I did. I did something that was really messed up, right? So I took on a client. And sometimes, I have a process, but you have a couple of people in the process. So, Darren, if I tell you a secret and you tell it to Scott, and then Scott goes back and tells it to me, sometimes it's going to be a bit off. We forgot to create the map for a client. I'm going crazy trying to rank the client, and we never created a map. So while you have the GMB, you have to make sure that you create a Google map for that client. And when you create that Google map, create driving directions from all points of interest. So, for example, from from bridges, from ferries, from the Statue of Liberty. I'm saying from New York here. You're
speaking of creating a custom My Google map.
Yes. You need to create a map for that business.
Now, do you embed that on the site or?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. And then what I like to do is once that map is created, now I'll tell you another mistake I made. I like pointing links at that map, right? So I'll get some articles written and I'll point some links at that map to give it some juice. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I read or watched was Google won't penalize Google. So just point a shitload of links at it. Just throw a shitload. Yeah, they'll point. They're not going to penalize Google, but they'll penalize your Google.
Yeah.
Right. I had my maps taken down.
Oh, wow.
I had a couple of maps taken down. I said, where do all my rankings go? I go look at my map section. I lost all my maps. But you need to point some links at your maps. You need to popularize those maps. And I'll give you another thing. So, fill out your maps, put your video in your maps. So once you finish your Google My, I'm jumping around. I'm sorry. Once you finish doing all the Google My Business, just go to Google My Business and fill out everything there. There's plenty of courses, plenty of videos on how to do a Google My Business. There's no reason to talk about it here. Just type in how to complete your Google My Business on YouTube, right? But then when you do a map, you got to make sure that you do driving directions. You got to make sure that you add pictures, add video, everything that Google's asking for, do. Now, they want a 750, I think 750 words in your map. Now, I don't know who's going to read 750 words, but write it, right? Get, or if you want, go to iWriter.com and have it written. And have it written. But you know, that's real important. Make sure that your maps are done. And then here's a good secret. Here's a good secret is that once your maps are done, bring it over to Fiverr and do some map embeds, like 100 or 500 map embeds. And that helped. That really helped with my rankings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Find somebody that does map embeds on Fiverr. Right. So like none of these things that I'm saying are the holy grail, but like if you put like 1% and 1%, 1%, all these little things, plus the things that you guys already know and do, it's really going to help.
Yeah. Like a bunch of long tail keywords.
Right. And the other thing is, when you watched my video, did you check out the, would you put my video in the bottom of the description at the end of this?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Not for self-promotion, but only because the things that I'm speaking about, I want people to understand. You know, are you guys good on location pages? Right. You know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got to watch. I learned that from a fella. His name is Mike Steffens.
Okay.
He only put out a couple of videos. Bald dude from Chicago. He only put out a couple of videos, but I'll tell you something. He explained it real good. He spoke about location pages and how to set up your location pages.
You're talking about on your website having pages dedicated to either like a suburb or a area, just kind of what the locals use as their.
Correct.
I should have clarified. Yes, I'm very good at that.
Yeah. We were just that particular term didn't resonate.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Not everybody is, and not everybody is, and that's the reason why I asked. You need to have location pages. You know, you need to have them set up, and you know, that's real important. That's real important.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I know we're gonna have to wrap up now. We'll try to keep it short.
Okay.
Short because I know everybody's got something to do. We got a ranked website. We're in ranked page.
Sure.
And I really appreciate you coming on today, Bret, man. It was awesome.
Hey, man, listen, the pleasure was mine. And if you ever like to use me again, please feel free. I'm always available for you guys. This was a great experience.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for giving so much valuable information in a short amount of time as well. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, guys.
All right, man. You take it easy.
All right, man. All right. Be cool. Merry Christmas.